Welcome back to Half Moon's Picks. This is week 18, wild card weekend in the NFL. Only 4 games are playing this weekend, 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. So don't miss them. Now, I'm going to cover, I'm going to give you 8 bets. I'm going to give you the under and over and what I think, what score is going to happen, plus, what to pick, straight up and against the spread. So, like I said, week 18, wild card weekend. Week 17, thank goodness that December's over. I do horrible. Most games I can't get a read on, and I do horrible at my pools. I just drop the hair. So you stay up in the first place, and then you just drop. The month of December is just horrible. And some of these games, like Cleveland, they're trying to win and ruin their, number 1 seed in the pick, in the draft pick. Oh my, why? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. But then you get Buffalo, who, heavy point spread, and then, fire the coaches before the last game of the season, sit out their star quarterback. And, McCoy gets hurt the first quarter of the game. And then they bring in their 3rd string quarterback. It's getting too close. And then literally did not pick up the ball on the kick return and just give Jets a free touchdown. I mean, that is I've never seen it so blatant. And of course, I picked Buffalo. Don't you know? Anyway, let's run down what I gave you as my best bets last week. We're right there. We got, I told you to pick Buffalo. Obvious loss. Then I went 3-1 on the picks last week, on the video picks. Told you to pick Kansas City. That's probably my number 2 pick, 8-9-1. My number 1 pick's 11-6-1. Not too bad. 8-9-1. My second pick, 50-50. That's probably my worst. 3rd pick, Green Bay. They won and covered. 11-7. Not too bad. And my upset pick of the week, my 4th pick, I told you to pick Giants. They won and covered as well. 14-2-1 on my upsets for the whole year. That's crazy. So I never guessed that in a million years. It tells you what kind of year it's been. My Twitter picks, I went 1-1. 21-12-1 overall. Still pretty good. I told you to pick Oakland as they lost. McGloin got injured. And who they bring? Cook. Yeah, he was a disaster. So, anywho, and then I told you to pick New Orleans, who did backdoor cover, won and covered against Atlanta. I knew that would be a close game. 7 points was too much. Overall, my picks throughout the whole year, 65, 36, and 4, which is a 64% win percentage, which is excellent. Like I said, I told you at the beginning of last year, and I'll tell you at the beginning of next year, December is horrible. I don't know what it is. Just flip a coin. I think I'm just going to throw some darts at the spreadsheet. See how that works out next year. Anywho, here we go. This week on my pools, like I said, I just dropped a little bit, but my straight up, not too bad. I got GOATS. I'm still at number 4, and his straight up still at number 6. Moved nowhere there. The pick 'em and shut up league, I moved up to number 2. That's a straight up pool. As I went 12-4 straight up and 6-10 ATS. And that Lions one, they moved it to 4 spread, and I said, I might take the Lions at 4. I had a 3 I placed money on, but why'd I change it? They should have had 4. If Matt Prater didn't miss a field goal. But anyhow, that's here nor there. See Bridgewater's finest, 110 points, number 3. See Bridgewater's finest ATS. I moved down a spot, to number 4. And Hatbox, I'm still at number 10. The PSI Gridiron, I'm now tied for 3rd. So these playoff games mean a lot. It might be between 1 or 2 games. And the SFE pick is now ended. They're not going into the playoffs. My goal was to get, out of like 450, 500 people, the goal was to get up to the top 50, which I managed to get to 54th place. not too bad considering how many people are in that pool. Like I said, this week I'll give you ATS and the ATS winners, and ATS winners and the under and overs. If there's anything you'd like to see in my channel for next year, please let me know. I'm up for ideas. I'm always trying to bring something what you, the viewers, want to see. So let's get this picks rolling. My fourth pick of the week, my 14-2-1 overall upset pick of the week. I am picking Detroit -8 or +8 in Seattle. Now you might say, oh, yeah, 8 points is a lot, and it's a good pick. Now, Matt Stafford, I've told you this a few times this year, if you're just new to my channel, like in the New Orleans game, Detroit went to New Orleans. He hates playing in New Orleans. He got blown out, his first season, playoff victory, and New Orleans just, let him have it. So every time he plays New Orleans, he lets him have it. And New Orleans was favored, so that was an easy pick. Same with Green Bay. Green Bay just Sunday night. Remember that Hail Mary last year? You see it like everywhere, and at the end of the game, Matt Stafford did the same thing, rolled right through the Hail Mary and got it. He got the over too, if anybody had that, but most people picked the under. So he does not forget. So what happened in the Detroit-Seattle game last time they played? Yeah, it was a low-scoring game. Stafford was going out for the victory, threw it to Megatron, Calvin Johnson, reached over the goal line, and the ball just popped right out. Sherman did a great job popping that out, and then they batted the ball out of the end zone. Should have been, a batted ball foul, and Lions should have had it on the 1, but it wasn't. It wasn't called at all. So, big disappointment. Lions will remember that, so especially Matt Stafford. So I expect, a real close game. Stafford's in it to win it, and 8 points is just too much. Now, I do believe Seattle was, they're great at home. They do have some key injuries in the secondary. So I expect it, close, low scoring. Lions will try to get that running game going again, like they have been the last 3 days, last 3 games. Zach Zenner is a great running back. So, they'll get that going, low scoring. The last time they played, it was 13-10. That was back in 2015, and that was the one with the batted ball out. So I'm going to go over in this video, so if you just want to skip through, go to the next one, that's fine. But I'm giving you the point of reasoning, aside from what Matthew Stafford thinks and why he's going to try to win this game. And they have 20% chance of winning this game. But 8 points, I'm definitely taking Detroit +8. Seattle at home, I always go against non-divisional. There's no divisional games going on in the wild card weekend. Thank goodness. Easier to figure out who do I think is going to win. Seattle at home, they won by 2 points against Miami. They won 2 points against Atlanta. That's pretty impressive. This is earlier in the year. They won by 6 against Buffalo. Then they won by 11, against Philadelphia when they started crumbling. And then won against 33 against Carolina when they really started crumbling. So, they've been very efficient at home. Now, I was look at but like I said, the key games like Atlanta, a power offense, and they won by 2. You try to compare the teams. I know Atlanta is great in the offense, and they can throw the ball like Matthew Stafford can. Got a lot better running game, but like I said, you try to do apples and oranges. So it'll probably be, if Seattle does win, it'd be probably around 4 to 6 points. 8 points is too much. But let's see, I would say Detroit on the road, non-divisional games. They lost by 4, or they won by 4 at Indianapolis. They lost by 7 at Houston. Good defense, just like Seattle. They won by 15 at New Orleans. That was that blowout game I just mentioned. Lost by 9, New York Giants, great team, playoff team, and then lost by 21 at Dallas. Now that Giants game where they lost by 9, they had 3 red zone turnovers. They just did not score any points at the end. So I don't think that's going to happen. But that'd be the closest one. Probably Houston, offense is sputtering, good defense, and they all lost by 7 in Houston. So, but if I were to guess a score on this game, this is my under and over, how I'm basing it, I would guess Seattle's going to win 20-17. So at that point, the under and over right now is at 43. So I'm taking under 43. My third pick of the week, we got Pittsburgh -10 hosting Miami. Now Miami, like I said, Tannehill, we don't know if he's going to play yet. He might. I think he's coming in too early, especially off a knee injury. One thing as humans do is protect whatever's hurt. So if he has a knee injury, he's going to protect it. He might throw it early, doesn't want to get hit. It's a bad mistake if he does come in. Moore might come in, might be playing. I'm unsure yet. They haven't said anything yet. But either way, I'm basing my decision on either team. Actually, I got 6 or 7 more points for Miami if Tannehill plays. So I'm factoring that into the head. All right, so let's see. So Vegas thinks Pittsburgh will win 28-18, basically by judging under and over by the point spread. 28-18. Now let's see what has Pittsburgh done on non-divisional games at home. So they won by 29 against Kansas City. They won by 18 against the Jets. They lost by 11 against New England. They're a great team. And they lost by 5 against Dallas, another excellent team. Probably the 2 NFC, AFC. That's probably the Super Bowl teams right there. So I'm going to scratch those out. And then they won by 10 against the Giants. So the 3 wins, other than the New England, Dallas, has covered that 10-point spread. So let's see. Let's look at Miami. Miami on the road, non-divisional games, lost by 2 at Seattle, lost by 15 by Cincinnati, won by 7 at San Diego, won by 4 at Los Angeles, and lost by 32 at Baltimore. So if I were to judge a team, which is most described, obviously I go by the Baltimore game, because Baltimore is the same division as Pittsburgh, so and actually Pittsburgh just a little bit better than Baltimore. So Miami lost by 32 points at Baltimore. You can't really throw in the factor of Los Angeles and San Diego. Those are probably the bottom tier of the teams. And they lost by 15 at Cincinnati, which is, still the same division, same type of game. So I don't think they're going to reach that 10-point spread. So my guess, if I were to pick this game, I would say Pittsburgh 32, Miami 13, and I'm giving the extra points if Tannehill plays. If not, they might get blown out even more, which just puts it under the total at 47. So pick the under 47. My second pick of the week, we got the New York Giants traveling to Green Bay. Green Bay, I'm picking as a 4.5-point favorite. The Vegas picks them as the game will be 24-20. And they played earlier in week 5. It was 23-16. So, it's kind of around the same area. It's going to be close. But let's look at the past at Green Bay at home against non-divisional teams. We got they won by 7 against, like I said, against the Giants. Lost by 14 against Dallas, Super Bowl contending team there. Lost by 5, Indianapolis. Won by 8 against Houston. And then won by 28 against Seattle. Now Seattle is probably the closest, maybe Houston, Either way, they'll cover the spread. Seattle, the Giants, you know, their offense has been stuttering. Great defense, as would be Houston or Seattle. Similar there. They covered the spread on both those, so that's why I'm taking 4.5. But then let's look again at the Giants. You know, non-divisional team, road games. Okay, we got the loss, 14 points against Minnesota. You can factor Minnesota close to Green Bay. You know, then lost to 7 at Green Bay again. Won 7 against the Rams, and then won by 14 against Cleveland. You can't really factor in the Rams or the Browns. And then lost by 10 against Pittsburgh. So even if I'm factoring out the Rams and the Browns, so Minnesota, Green Bay, and Pittsburgh, all of them lost by that spread up by 4.5. So this would be easy pick, Green Bay minus 4.5. Now, as far as the guess goes on what the score and under and over is, I got Green Bay winning 27-13, which gives a point of 40. Right now the under over is 44.5. So again, taking the under 44.5. And my number one pick of the week, we got Oakland traveling to Houston, where I have Houston winning by 3.5 points. Now this is kind of a hard selection, but you know, like I really like McGloin, but he got injured last week. Now they're at Connor Cook, their third string quarterback. Feels so bad for Oakland. You know, it looked like when that happened against that Denver game, the Raiders just gave up. You know, their defense was out on the field the whole time, caved in. Offense couldn't get nothing running. So it looked pretty bad. And then you're going to count on Oakland's running game. Now, Houston, I don't know if Osweiler or Savage is playing. I know Savage got injured. Osweiler came in last week. And they lost to Tennessee at Tennessee. But Houston at home is a fairly great team. So let's see, non-divisional games at home in Houston. Houston won by 9 against Chicago. Won by 7 against Kansas City. Won by 7 against Detroit. Lost by 8 against San Diego. And then won by 2 against Cincinnati. So 3 of the 5 spreads they covered on that. And Osweiler was in 3 of those 5 games, or 4 of those 5 games. So I feel more confident with Savage in there, but if you don't, Osweiler can still pull it off. Now let's go look at Oakland on the road, which they're a great team on the road, but you got to remember, Derek Carr's not playing, and they got the third string quarterback. But, you know, if Derek Carr was playing, we could factor in these, so you could throw these out the window. But they won by 1 in New Orleans, won by 7 in Tennessee, won by 1 in Baltimore, won by 15 against Jacksonville, and won by 6 in Tampa. So they'd have a pretty good shot. You know, the spread would probably be around, or won by 15 in Jacksonville, sorry. So they, you know, you throw out Jacksonville, you'd probably, you know, throw out maybe Tennessee. You know, it'd probably be a closer game, definitely if Carr was playing, and most likely they would win the game. But you can't really go off this if your starting quarterback and your second string quarterback are injured. So they're throwing out those stats and just going off mainly of the Houston. Should win it and cover by 3.5 points. My guess is what the game score is. I got Houston 17, Oakland 9. And the reason why I got Oakland 9, if Osweiler throws 3 picks in the game and Oakland can't do nothing but kick a field goal, they'll get 9 points. 17-9, the over and under is 36.5, so I'm going under 36.5. Well, that's it for the week. I think last year my prediction on all the Super Bowl and playoff games, I only lost 1 spread game. It was by 1 point. That was the Green Bay Arizona game, and that was a shootout overtime Hail Mary and didn't cover the spread. So that was the only game I think I lost. I remember that well. So I usually do pretty good in the post game and get these, you know, week 17s and week 16s out of here, and nothing to do with them. But actually I fared fairly good on the picks I gave you guys, so I'm not complaining too much. Hopefully, you know, don't bite me in the butt next year. But our contest winner, I said, what's the Green Bay and Detroit? I picked 27-23, and the actual is 31-24, which two people actually got right in my comments below, which was John and again Anthony Simone. So congratulations, you guys again, great job. Why don't you guys put out some videos? I'll watch them, and maybe I'll win some money off your guys' picks. With that being said, in the links below, I got some great prognosticators. A lot of them putting out their videos early because, you know, you got a whole week until football season, until the playoffs are here. But check them out when you're ready to bet. And what I usually sometimes do on an uncertain game, I'll check out their page, check out their videos, and take, you know, a consensus. You know, it's like eight people pick this team, you know, 4 people pick this team, you know, this team seems to be the winner, you know. That's what I do, especially on those uncertain games, you know, like Browns, Pittsburgh, Browns 5th string team versus, you know, Cleveland, you know, 1st string, you know, crazy games like that, you know, week 17, that's for sure. So stay tuned. I will be back next week with the divisional round, so you stay tuned. I will see you next week. Peace.